Hey there, and welcome. I am doing this video to go through the monthly guide that I write and post on my blog at the top of every month so that you have a monthly forecast to accompany the annual one, or you have a monthly forecast to give you more foresight if you're used to following the weekly tips. So I've printed one out, which I don't normally do, and I'm going to go ahead and go through it. And it's going to be a little pedantic, but I think it's going to be super helpful. So, you don't have to print out the guide. I have something highlighted here to remind myself, oh, and it's this video. So what I do is I go into the stars and I go into them at the beginning of the year and I open up each month. And so here we are at this time. The one I'm going to go through is November 2024. And so it's the end of the year. So I've already done most of the next year. But what happens is we have free will. So when an astrologer or oracle or prophet or whatever you want to say, however anybody's reading the energy, they're reading the potential of the energy. They're, in the case of an astrologer, they're looking at the stars and saying, what are the stars making available to us? And that's the availability, is the potential of the availability. We have free will. So as we're looking at them and we're coming closer and we're opening up the energies as we come upon them, that's when they're much more fertile, if you will, with the energies, because we're right here. And the past free will choices will have directed or redirected or recalibrated whatever that energy is. So really important to recognize that some astrologer can say something at the beginning of a decade for something well into the decade itself. And if it doesn't come to be, it doesn't mean that that astrologer is wrong from a potentiality perspective. It just means we have redirected where we're going. So it's either become better and easier, or unfortunately, it's become harder and more difficult. So here we are at the beginning of the month. I do a monthly forecast as a podcast, and I do it for the overarching message, and I give information that comes that feels like it's the most fruitful. But then I write a guide, and I write the guide for those of you who really like to dip into the energy and like to have that strategic view of the month and want to know what's coming up. You may either want to know for certainty to give yourself some calm, or you may want to know for some planning. So what I do is I think very much about what that title is going to be and what energy we're going to be working with. So that's what the title will be. Just come up with an image. Some people like imagery better than words. And then I talk about the stars and just how you use them, right? Like they are conspiring for our success. But just because we know something doesn't mean it comes to fruition. We are going to want to take action. And that's what this guide is all about. So I will start with the monthly summary. And that's what I would have written before the year began. And so I'll look at, I give you information about what sun signs they are. I give you what the seasonal energies are. I give you what the earthly element is. I give you the overall meaning. Like literally there's a paragraph of your meaning. Some of you may want to stop there. Some of you might be like, you know what, that's enough. I don't need any more. Great, you can. For those of you who want to continue, I then will explain what the season is that we're in energetically. So there are 4 seasons energetically. There's the season of potential, there's a season of purpose, there's a season of power, and there's the season of prosperity. Just so happens they all have, it's an alliteration, but it's really what we're working with energetically. And then I describe what that wheel is, and then I actually go into all of the seasonal energies. And so there's business tips for that. There's a whole article that I have about your own energy, your intuitive success signature, which is based on that 12-question quiz, which measures how you are entering the world. Do you enter your world through your mind? Do you enter the world through the connections? Do you enter the world through action? And so you get a signature energetically, 1 of 6, and that gives you much more detailed information for you, whether it's, a monthly tip or a lunar one or even a seasonal one. So again, you have access to lots of things. When I do something, it's like a buffet. You can feast on all the different things, or you can choose 1 or 2 and feast on, because I have a wide-ranging audience, and different people like to do different things, and I'm doing it, so I might as well. I then go through big star events, And then I describe the big star events. So there are things like empowering action, making your dreams real. There's no turning back from the new era energy. And then there's shifting beliefs. And in the guide, I will tell you why, which planets are doing what thing. But I do that in one or two sentences. Most of it is in language that you can understand. I'm not teaching you astrology. I'm interpreting the energies for you so you can use this information in any way that you want to in your either personal life or for your business. So it's my conveyance to you for you to then be able to use it to be able to make decisions, know when to hire, know when to launch, know when to and how to use specific energies for your marketing, for your sales, for the creation times, for the great times to go to retreats and conferences, things like that. So I then, after I do those big star energies, like what are the big, huge things going on in the month, I then go week by week. Literally, I give you a personal tip and I give you a business tip. As of right now, that's what I'm doing every single week. So we go week 1, week 2. I mean, we just go through it that way. This is why people like it, because they can just follow this. I do also do weekly tips in a forecast too. Some people like it because I go further than this in the podcast. I go down into tips by your intuitive success signature. But I don't know about you, but I'm a strategist, so I really like knowing what's coming up. After I do the weeks, I then go through the moons. So I'll have a new moon blurb and I'll have a full moon blurb. Um, and it depends on which one comes first. Right now, it's new moon is coming first in the month, and then the full moon's coming up. Doesn't matter. You'll know. I'll put the date in. I'll put all the information in. I also do a podcast for those. So if you want to go further into the energies, you can. But a new moon is for setting intentions and being able to then use that building energy of the moon for 2 weeks until you get to the full moon. So that's for manifestation. That's for making things happen in more of a forward motion. When we get to the full moon, going back to the new moon for the last 2 weeks, or those next 2 weeks, that is for releasing and creating space. You can remove blocks. You can get some ease, you can get some release, you can let go. And that is to lighten you up so that you have the space for more manifestation when it comes around again to the new moon. So I go into the energies of each one of those cycles. They're the elemental key points for the moon. And then I'm going to go into some magical tools. So magical tools, I'm pulling an oracle card. I am looking at what the crystal is for the month. I'm looking at what the spirit animal is. I'm looking at what the flower essence is. These are energies that I work with, and I do it so that you have more information to be able to gain support. So how do you use them? An oracle card. So an oracle card for the month, in this case, it doesn't matter what it is, right? So what I have a deck right here, and you can pull a card, or I can give you the card for the month, and then you can start ruminating over it. You can say, gee, I like words. I like to know what these energies are. I like to know what the messages are. I like to know how to ponder it and how to open to it. And if that's the energy of the month, I want to align more fully with it. And so you can do it in meditation. You can do it just by thinking. You can do it by journaling. You can honestly, you can do it any way you want as long as you're connecting with that intention. The crystal. So in this case, I just have two crystals. They were selenite for this month. I have a peach selenite and I have a regular selenite. So if it's a lunar cycle and it happens to, kind of coordinate with the beginning of the month, I'll be using that same crystal. What does a crystal energy do for you? It's more vibrational. It's going to be able to take your energy and align it more fully with the energy of the month. That sounds good, right? So if this month happens to be the one that I'm explaining is about growth. Ooh, like to grow more. This crystal happens to be selenite. I have a peach one here and I have a regular one here. Huh. I happened to do a ritual in that new moon because it was the first of the month. Wow. I now can open to this energy, and selenite can help me release things that are in blocking my path so that I can grow. So crystals are very, very important. When you're doing it with me and I'm opening the energy with you in a meditative ritual, then you don't need to actually have one. If you want to have one, you can go buy one. You can get them really easily. Mostly you can get them on Amazon. You can get them at your local crystal store. You can get them on Etsy. There's so many ways you can get them. I try to use crystals that are very available and not expensive. So this piece of selenite was maybe $1. right? And if you want to use it and you can have it and you can put it in your pocket, you can put it on your computer, you can put it in your purse or your bag or literally you can put it on your desk, like honestly, and you can vibrationally connect with this energy and the crystal will be working for you. So that is gorgeous. When I'm looking at the animal for the month, in this case, I have I'll just grab two different cards here. I have two different cards. I have spider and I have snake. I just wanted to come up with two different examples. The animal energy, you can really easily access the animal energy. It's not that it's not powerful, it's incredibly powerful, but even though it is powerful, it's super easy to access. Animals will be one of the first energies to come to you. So when you start opening to your intuition, you're going to notice numbers first because numbers are everywhere. Numbers are on money, numbers are on clocks, numbers are on, highway signs, license plates, things like that. They're just so available, you start noticing numbers. The second thing you start noticing are animals because they're like at the ready. They're so connected to nature and they're so connected to who's attuned that they'll be like, wait, someone is waking up to, magical energy. Let me at them. And so you'll start noticing the energies. You can go online to look at what meanings are. When I give you the animal for the month, I'm going to give you the meaning of it. So in this case, if it's spider, it's all about creativity and it's all about that interconnected web. And you can use it for connecting with your prospects. You can use it for making more robust pipeline. There's really practical uses for it. If it happens to be snake, this is why I picked two, just so you can get a different vibe. This is all about transformation and healing. You are going through a major shift. So if the month was open to either one of these energies, that would be the vibe of the month. Those are the types of activities you'd want to be doing. So that's how you can use the animal energy. Then I also do flower essence energy. And I do flower essence energy because it's super supportive. I try to use the Bach ones. There are 38 of them. They're available on Amazon. They're available in Whole Foods. They're available in most like New Age or health food stores. They are so incredibly powerful because it's taking the energy of the flower, and I'll just show you in this case, it's Jensen. It's taking the energy of this flower, and I'm telling you what it means. And literally, if you're like, ooh, I really want that energy, you go ahead and buy one. They're like, I want to say like $12 to $15, and you just use like 3 drops. You put them in water and you just do that a few times a day, and you can do it through 1 month, and you'll all of a sudden find it's a very emotional support. You'll find your emotions will be, in this case, Jensen is about revival. It's about trusting. It's about getting rid of self-doubt. So that sounds really good. Being more assured and more certain, that sounds really yummy. So those are the magical tools that I'll have in the guide. And then at the end of the guide, I'll have your intuitive success signatures for the month. So I'll have them for the wise strategist, for the intuitive visionary, the collaborative explorer, the ruling warrior, the creative superstar, and the loving alchemist. And I'll have all of those for the month. And so when you think about this guide, I have the big star events and what's happening. I have the weekly kind of rhythm of what you want to do during the week. I've got the lunar cycles for whether you want to manifest something that month or whether you want to release something that month. I have magical tools so you can use these energies and almost without thought or intention, you can just have them around you. And that makes things super easy. And then I have your tip for your energetic signature, how you're entering the world, whether through your thoughts or through your connections or through your actions. And so those are the monthly guides. And I write them every single month. They're available on my blog and you can use them. You can have that, just save it as a PDF and have it online for you just to kind of see where you are. You can use it at the beginning of the month and kind of set the tone for the whole month and just be done with it. Or you can print it out and kind of mark it up and really see what pops on the page for you and say, ooh, this is the week I'm going to focus on. Ooh, this is the energy I'm going to work with. And you can take the rest and you can just have it be out there. And you don't have to use it other than knowing about it. So it's already in your auric field. And so you already have connected to the energy. So this is how to use the monthly forecast guide. So as always, it is so wonderful. And I thank you so much for watching and for sharing with friends and for really stepping into your magical, intuitive gifts so that you can really align with the energy of the new era and the energy of your feminine side to go along with that beautiful masculine strength so you can be that visionary leader that you know you were born to be. Until next time, happy soul tidings.